doing some vaccinating. So I have individual needles for all the girls, and I have the needle shield, which stops it from going in too deep. It's all right. Good girl. That's enough. You gonna be a good girl? Good girl. Cess is favouring this front foot. She's got a bit of a limp on. She's got the weight on the other side, offside foot, as you can see there. And this one's jutting forward. So we'll see what's going on. On Cess, top foot. And there's some separation of wall and inner hoof there. And there's some debris up in there, so we'll get that out and she'll probably feel a lot better. What's this? Tuck. Good girl. There's a bit on this side as well. We'll clean that out while we're at it. Doesn't seem to be the one that's making her lame. That will just prevent it. Alright, this is the sore one. Easy girl. It would help if my clippers weren't blunt. Wool, we'll go. Wool, good girl. There we go. That's better. Just check this side. I know it pinches. There we go. There we go. Just cut the edge out of this pocket and got the debris out. There's a bit of red here. It's not bleeding. It's just where the lemonade has stretched slightly. It's like a bruise in the hoof there. I'll trim that back to try and prevent any further stretching. And she's about good to go. The Milans, you have to be a little careful how much you take off. You can just see the faint shadow of pink here. So you can't take much off of there or she will actually bleed. But this was the main thing that we were looking to clean up this time around. Good girl. It's still going to be a bit sore, but we'll see how much better you feel tomorrow, hey? I don't know what Golden's done, but she's done a doozy of a job. I don't know how you did that. Putting your head somewhere it oughtn't to be, probably. Keep still. Good girl. That should help. That's just a antibiotic powder. But I find it is extremely beneficial for all kinds of cuts and sores. Numb nuts, watch where you put your head. Silly girl, Golden. Adelia is starting to spring. Basically what it means when a doe is starting to spring is that her udder is starting to prepare for birth and lactation. So the top of the udder up here has started to grow a little bit. No milk, it's still flat down at the teats. That part's empty. The mammary tissue and udder structures are starting to prepare for lactation. And she has some development and some growth up here. It's typically more noticeable on a doe that has kidded previously. Adelia has kidded before. And it's just one of the other little signs of impending kidding that I keep an eye on. Now if we compare that to Miss Tawny here, you can see that there's no fullness really at all up here. It's just wrinkled up, a bit of soft saggy skin. So there's no springing happening there. Tawny's been dry quite a while. Look at you. The face of the son who decided to tip his water bucket over and play with it in the mud. No regrets, hey Tumnus. Look at that, you're caked. You're caked. Ceci's still a bit lame on this foot. And I'm having another look and I can see that line there, down in there is a bit puffy, where the hoof meets the foot, and a bit tender, judging by her reaction. So I'm going to put some cream in there. It's got some antifungal and antibacterial properties. Holds moisture but repels excess moisture, and we'll see if that helps. It's a bit tricky. Easy. Good girl. Push that in there. Yep. Easy. Good girl. I know. Easy. Get a good layer. That's better crudding. Get that bit of dirt out. There. That should make it feel a bit better, darling. I know. It's been a bit pummeled. There we go. Here's my cream. Yeah, that's it. I find that's quite helpful with these types of sore feet. Worked a charm on Silver's. I'm going to try it on Ceci's. The gouge that Golden made behind her ear is coming along nicely. It's dry. There's no odour. Only a tiny bit of insignificant swelling the first couple of days. I did put powder on it a second time, but apart from that, it's doing what it ought to. And it hasn't been any changes in her appetite or her behaviour. So it's looking good. This is why it's called a brush tail. You know, you can see the underneath has no fur on it, so it can grip.
That's a good shot.
That was a big one.
This way, this way.
Tom, can you roll the ball for me? Oh, good boy. It's been a couple of days since we put cream on this foot of Sesame's. Come on. And she's not limping. So that's done its job. Out you go, please. Good girl. Miss Beauty Bell's got some more marks on this teat. And this time I've noticed a pattern. It happens when she comes on season. So I think when she comes on heat and the brain vacates and the hormones are left in charge, she's letting some other Fruit Loop chew on her teats because she's all hormonal. So I'm going to try, if I can, and tape them up to try and protect them. Because of course they get sore when they're chewed, and then she'll boot you when you're milking her. Not to mention I don't want her chewed anyway. Now because they're sore and she's prone to kicking, I'm hoping she doesn't actually knock my phone down because she's got a really long raking hook of a kick when she decides to use it. Just get my sticky bandage off here. I'm gonna try and wrap this thing up, huh? Alright. I prefer not to have the end covered. It would have been better if this was halved. No, don't do that. Come on. Good girl. I'm just going to cover it up. There we go. I'm going to leave that on her. Put it down. There we go. Going to leave that on her until she's gone off and see if that protects her a bit. I don't know who's doing it. I haven't caught anyone doing it. But this is the third time that she's come in with these unusual grazes and raw bits on her teat. And I'm just, yeah, I'm a bit sick of the mess she gets in. And it can't be fun for her once the state of hormonal excitement wears off. Don't chew me. Let me see this one. This one's had a really good gouge done on it last time. I didn't make that quite long enough, but it does just meet. There we go. Right, got some protection on there, and I can still milk her and get the milk out without any trouble. We'll see if that stops some of this chewing. When I'm feeling for kids, see if I can feel movement. Place that I put my hand is typically right here in front of the udder, the lower part of the belly. That's where I also will listen for a heartbeat. Use a stethoscope for that. Further in, sometimes especially if they're carrying more than one, you can feel movement a bit further forward or fractionally higher. Depends on the position that the kid or kids are in. Sometimes you won't feel much at all, especially if they're not moving. Other times you'll feel a definite boot. Oh, I just got one. I just got a slight kick. It was not a huge one, but it was definitely a kid kicking. There's actually no skeletal structure in this area down here. So any solid bones that are felt down in there will belong to kids. The ribs end up here, and of course the spine stays here. Hind leg assembly through there, just in here, no bones. So if you can feel bones here, it's a kid. Felisa. stop that.